Well, they say you either love it or hate it, and I'm here to tell you that it was okay. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about All Systems Red by Martha Wells, which is the first book in the Murderbot Diaries, a series that I didn't really actually have a whole lot of intention of even trying. Fun fact, largely because Daniel Green loved it so much, and I found a long time ago that we have incredibly different taste, and so usually the stuff that he really likes, I'm not a huge fan of, and so I ended up just putting this off, and then everything I heard made it sound like, it might be all right, but probably not anything that I'm crazy about trying, and after trying it, yeah, pretty much, it was okay. It is kind of where I landed here. I didn't love this. I didn't hate this. I thought it was fine. It is a novella. It's pretty short, so it I assume will build off here. And my gut reaction is like, maybe I'd continue if I'm looking for just a tiny little short thing to go. But I also don't really get the like love or the hate, because it seemed just kind of average, really. And Murderbot, if you're not familiar, is a about a sort of like not actually quite robot, but like a kind of a unit of part like android, part like clone kind of thing, that's controlled by the government, and they're rented out as security. And so he's a sec unit, and he's on a mission, but this particular one has hacked into the government chip, basically, so that he can just kind of do whatever he wants. The thing he wants to do, which is watching soap operas, basically, and that's kind of what he does. And so we're given this kind of juxtaposition of this, I'll say person, basically, but of Murderbot, who is supposed to just be like a cold-blooded killer, not have emotions, and just follow orders and do all these things, but it's like, nah, I just want to watch TV, and then getting pulled into a kind of conspiracy where he gets a little bit too close to people, and lets go a little bit more of himself than he wanted to in his personality, and that ends up playing a role. And so I didn't find anything particularly objectionable here. It was, I mean, it's kind of a cute premise, I guess, but maybe it's just because I'm not a big fan of this. This almost feels like a violent cozy, if that makes sense, because there is some violence and there is some, action and stakes, but it's presented, even with that, like, it feels like that kind of the low stakes kind of cozy thing. And I'm not usually a huge fan of that, so maybe that's also playing in here. And I know it feels weird to call that with Murderbot, but once again, it's just, all he wants to do is just, hang out and watch his TV and do that. And so it's kind of just this, laid back kind of thing. But it just, I didn't find it like overly funny or witty with the dialogue or the setup, but I thought it was very readable and easy to get through as well. So it's just I don't feel like I totally got it. I wouldn't be necessarily opposed to continuing, but I would be really curious. So let me know in the comments, based on my kind of just nonplussed reaction to the first one. Do you think it's worth continuing if this is something you've done? Am I totally just missing it? Because like I said, I know people tend to really love this or really hate it, and I've no strong emotions either way. I think it's an interesting premise where you have this, and the way that this one ends, where I feel like it's called the Murderbot Diaries. You kind of assume there's obviously going to be more, but the way this one ends, it sets up what could be anything, and with Murderbot going around, and I assume having more kind of little adventures and everything, and just trying to get out of them. So it feels like that kind of like reluctant hero sort of trope, so to speak. Which I feel like can be done, but actually the funny thing that literally just occurred to me now is the way I just described that. I wonder if this is going to be sort of like Rincewind in Discworld, which is also my favorite, or my least favorite, I'm sorry, subset of Discworld is the Rincewind books, where it's just Rincewind who just doesn't really want to, he just wants to, hang out and be boring, and always gets pulled into these adventures. It feels like it's kind of that setup, so maybe that's also just not a setup that works for me, because those are my least favorite by far that I've read of Discworld. So that's really interesting. I didn't actually pre-plan that, but anyway, that's really it. I didn't have a lot of strong feelings on this one, like I said, so I don't have a ton more to say. But let me know your thoughts on this if you've read this book or this series. I'd be really curious to hear from you. Otherwise, make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizard of the Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.